Hey guys, and welcome to some glorious Dowie action. I'm a rubber duck of war playing under the guise of the Blind Bandit, taking on ODM's very own Tretch with Dwarfs versus Lizardmen, an old school showdown. It's going to be on Rakto Ridge. We're bringing a bit of a meme build here today. We're going to try something new and different, and rather than going for something super competitive, we've gone for quad Ironbreakers because we're feeling that much Chad, and I've missed them greatly. We've gone for a nice defensive formation. It's basically a rush build, which up against Lizardmen, you don't really need to rush them. It's not like they're going to shoot back and shoot you too much unless they go full kite. And at that point, you know, no one's having any fun anyway. So we have a load of miners with blasting charges dotted through at the front line. Looking to bring the pain with those blasting charges to the enemy formation. They're going to hit Skink, Saurus. But hey, if you got a mine and blast a unit of Croxagors, you got to do it. So they can still do damage anyway regardless. And I like them quite a bit in this matchup. We have Ironbreakers on the flanks and in the back and on the left-hand side as well. In the centre, we have Ekrund Miners and Norglin Ironbreakers, the regiment renowned of their respective units. Pretty damn badass troops. It's always awesome to see these elite Dowie warriors march into war. There's also been an announcement recently that Dwarfs are coming into Warhammer 40k, which is pretty exciting stuff. We have a Master Engineer down in the middle. This is for a tiny bit of battle control if my opponent wants to cycle charge me to death. At least we have a flash bomb. We also have Thoric Ironbrow in the middle. Coming with some pretty simple runes today. We have the Rune of Slowness, Rune of Speed, and Rune of Doom. So nothing too crazy, pretty much what you would normally expect. And we have the Regiment Renowned Slayers in the back. As for my opponent, he's gone super wide of a Crocscore rush build, and he's got a load of red-crested skinks mixed in with skink cohorts on the flank to try and wrap around and destroy my back line. Saurus Warriors, Croxagor, Feral Stegodons, a bucket ton of flies, including the Pohawk Sentinels, which I'm a big fan of. We also have red-crested skinks, the cohort of Sotek, the beautiful Ark of Sotek, which is disgustingly powerful, particularly in this matchup. If your opponent hasn't brought guns, it will just destroy all Dowie infantry. It's going to be a big problem for me to deal with. I'm certainly going to have to try and burst it down with Slayers if at all possible. We do have a little skink priest just with the Manticore summon, so being a little bit of a humble boyo there. A Feral Stegodon, as well as a Croxagor Ancient, who looks pretty fantastic. So without further ado, let's get this battle underway. And hopefully it should be a bit of a cracker. Well, I played in it, so I know it is a bit of a cracker. And that's why I wanted to bring it to you guys today. If you do enjoy the Warhammer 2 content, by the way, make sure to like and subscribe and leave a comment down below that you'd like to see more of it. It is incredibly difficult right now to get Warhammer 2 replays. Most people playing either like brand new and haven't played before, or there's kind of just a few people who go mega super cheese and stuff. So it's been tough. I've played about 10 Warhammer 2 games, and this is kind of the only one which has been relatively close and decent. So, you know, if you've got any more Warhammer 2 replays, feel free to submit them. I'll be doing them probably once a week on the channel alongside the regular Warhammer 3 goodiness. The Master Engineer takes a couple of pot shots at the Croxagor, lifts up his two stubby middle fingers, and starts laughing manically while sipping on a Bugman's. Quite a lot of multitasking there by a Master Engineer, who actually decides to switch targets to the Croxagor Ancient, focus down at that enemy lord who's going to come in, leading the charge. The reason you lead like a beast like this is to try to waste the blasting charges of your opponent. My god, the Ark of Blood there, drowning out the camera. But I'm going to be saving my blasting charges and ensuring I use them on the cohort and other skink-like units. Though launching some at Croxagor isn't the worst idea, they're taking quite a bit of a pounding because we do have the glorious Dragonback Slayers getting in there and dragging down the forces. We come with a Rune of Doom. Looks like a Rune of Speed is also going to go down, killing our Slayers into absolute wrecking balls. However, Red Crescent Skinks will be jumping on them. Nice play by my opponent. We counter that, coming in with the Ekrund Miners, and all across the battle line, blasting charges are being launched. Ironbreakers move out to the left-hand side to focus down at Red Crested Skinkies and Skink cohorts and attempt to assist the rather beleaguered Miners on the left-hand side. More miners in the back continue to launch shots in. We have a fiery ring go down, doing some okay damage to the Saurus Warriors and nothing too crazy. And the Croxagor Ancient is getting absolutely, bam, slapped up here in the fire and the fury. Slayers and Thoric bellowing grudges aplenty and oaths of vengeance to take part against the children of the old ones. We're doing some massive damage to the Ancient. It's a big boon for me. Unfortunately, though, wherever the Bastiladon Ark of Sotek goes, death doth follow. We're trying to hold on with the Norglin Ironbreakers here, who have really nice defense stats in general, and the big beasties can struggle to take them down unless they cycle charge effectively. Ironbreakers blast some red-crested skinks before whipping out those axes and charging into glorious battle. There's just explosions all around the battlefield. Wherever you look, there's a juicy explosion. Dragonback Slayers are hunting and hounding the Kroxgor Ancient, attempting to slow him down and drag him, bring him back to justice in the name of all the Dowie kind. But he's swagging away. Such a cool model. One of my favorites in the game for sure. No more blasting charges are unleashed here into the mixture of Saurus Warriors and large creatures. It does seem like the Ferrocyclone's eating a rune of slowness, and Thoric Eyebrow is trying to get in there and bring the business. Unfortunately, with the lack of Slayers, we're really going to struggle up against these large single entities. We attempt a dodge there on the glorious rock drop. Very well played by my opponent. That was lined up quite hastily. The Pterodon Riders do some decent damage, but we're Ironbreakers at the end of the day. It's just a rock. We have pretty damn decent armor. It looks like the Kroxgor Ancient is still surviving for now. The Dragonback Slayers are constantly hounding him. What's his speed? 30 speed versus 34? I have no idea how we've not dragged down and killed this guy yet. We should be slowing him as well when we connect. But for whatever reason, the Kroxgor Ancient seems pretty capable of surviving. We're also being poisoned and slowed by the Pterodons in the skies. One of Ironbreakers stands alone in an island and a sea of Lizardmen around them. It's a tough fight for little Ironbreakers. They're holding pretty firm though, fighting back to back. Brother to brother, we shall drag down these dreaded creatures of evil. At least that's what the Dowie think. But realistically, the Lizardmen, though they're quite horrifying in design and brutality, are actually like the ultimate good guys. We are able to drag down one of the Ferrostegodons and push back a lot of Kroxigors. One blasting charge goes out. Unfortunately, it's more of a warning shot to those skinks. Don't you dare come back here. We'll beat your ass. The Ferromanticore is looking to get surrounded. I'm actually just trying to jump in with everything and trying to break it as quickly as possible and save the miners and engineer, because the miners have some rather vital blasting charges left. The engineer's been buffing and restocking units as he goes, but he's also trying to focus down the enemy. I want to keep him alive in case the Kroxgor Ancient is able to survive. So hopefully I can get in there with a big fat assassination. Down here we have a couple of Slayers left fighting Pterodons. They do fine in that fight, but all round, it's not really the fight I want them to be in. I really want them chasing down this Kroxgor Ancient, who is able to rally here. Only 500 HP on him. He'll probably break if he comes back into the fight, but I want him off the battlefield as quickly as possible because I need as much morale disadvantages to my opponent as I can possibly get. We do surround the beast. The Ferromanticore is getting dragged down. Thoric Ironbrow leads the charge single-handedly, charging him in and, you know, showing, hey, look, my opponent's general, he's running away. He's a coward. I'm a Chad. I'm fighting on the front line with Du Bois. And it looks like the Ferromanticore is going to get routed and forced back, sent back to its dirty cave where it realms, and trying to force it away from my beautiful Dowie troops. Master Engineer continues to take some pot shots, just line up, getting a bit of Dino hunting today. He's coated in the blood of possibly friends, possibly foes. It's kind of tough to tell. Only 0 kills, so it's probably a lot of friendly blood. Still a 660 damage value. Misses his shot there, unfortunately. And both of us are pretty organized in our battle lines. Now, balance power is slightly in my favor, but that's super exaggerated because the Kroxgor Ancient is so weak compared to Thoric Ironbrow. I think my opponent's actually in quite a big state of advantage. We do a fire ring, not the best time, and only catching a couple units there, largely due to the fact a lot of the units got forced over by the blasting chargers, who are now in a hot retreat trying to get back to the Ironbreakers, who are going to swarm forward, looking to meet the Kroxgor with blade, oaths, and axes. We even have blasting charges being launched at them, just trying to drag them down as quickly as physically possible. Miner's doing a good job wrecking some red-crested skinks. It looks like we are also going to be coming down with an overcast Master Rune of Speed plus 24 melee attack. That's what I like to see on my Ironbreakers, turn them into world-class destruction machines. Miners unleash one last blasting charge before charging into the deep one last time. Unfortunately, the Archosotek's in here, and it is an infantry destroying machine. Against factions which don't have range, it is devastating, particularly because we don't have single entities to attempt to duel it. The Vampire counts also suffer quite badly from it. The Terracottas, I'm going to call them Terracottas, my god. The Pohawks Sentinels, it's because they're Sentinels, I'm going to call them Terracotta Sentinels, but the Pterodon Riders on the back here do a decent little swoop attack down onto Norglen. Ironbreaks look to actually break them. That's certainly quite a hard target and a mission to achieve, but it seems like my opponent has managed to do it. Balance power is still heavily in my favor, but I'm feeling really unconfident right now. Kroxgor Ancient does come in and he's heard me slagging him off and saying that he's way worse than Thoric Ironbrow, and he's leading his Kroxgor boys into action. Saurus doing a decent job as well. Kroxgor Ancient gets in there and then once again retreats, only cementing my beliefs that he is a coward compared to Thoric Ironbrow. He's doing a decent job just taking down the enemy Kroxgor and being a bit of a beast. It looks like the Ferrocyclones are about to go down. The Archosotek is very, very healthy, however, and the Pterodons are doing a good job. They really want to just hunt down these loose units rear attack me, try and break up my morale, because these Ironbreakers will fight for about 50 years if you let them. Firing goes down the line, much better cast this time, catching those Red Crosser Skinks and breaking them. And in come the Pterodons alongside the big Dinos, trying to bring the pain to the Ironbreakers. Forik Ironbrow stands alone, but he does not care. The Kroxigor Ancient once again falls back before his might and wrath. Kroxigor being driven away now, and Saurus Warriors as blasting charges get Kobe'd up into the rear of that Kroxigor Ancient. That's what you get for turning your tail to us. You get blasted in the rear. 109 HP, he's going to break and run, abandoning his troops and fleeing before the might of the Dowie throng. Kroxigors look to follow suit and break off as well. Saurus just about clinging on. Ironbreakers are slowly grinding down the Pterodons. It is taking them about 50 years, but the flash bomb going down, nuking that melee defense is certainly quite a big boon to me. Arca Sotek up to Silver Chevron, 111 kills and over 2,000 damage value already is really fantastic work. It looks like a Rune of Slowness goes down the Pterodon, hopefully lowering its speed a little bit there. Likewise, a Rune of Doom goes in, hopefully inspiring a bit of fear into the enemy infantry and the Pterodon riders. Actually, Pterodons cause fear, so they're not going to be too affected by that. The Ironbreakers doing a decent job, though, up to 120 kills, carving their way through many a Pterodon. And the Skink Priest looking a little bit worse for wear now. We do shatter the Ferrostegdon. Kroxigors are being forced back, but the Arca Sotek is so healthy and incredibly scary for me to deal with. Forik will once again meet him headstrong, though. This is how he's met all of his targets and threats. He's basically a King Theoden in the Return of the King. We will take them head on and charge everything. That's my main game plan. Blast and Charges come through. It's in setting Forik on fire, actually. He's not going to be a big fan of that. If we get out of this one, lads, there's going to be a couple of grudges to settle. Kroxigors shatter. It looks like the little snakes are going to be coming down and just draining the Ironbreakers. And this moving Mortis engine is so powerful, although it is a click Mortis engine, so I don't think it's quite as broken as many people say it is. I think it's, a really good unit. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think it's like brokenly OP or a weapon of mass destruction or anything like that. Forik Ironbrow Rune speed has gone down on him. He just bonks a couple of Kroxigor on the head and sends them packing once more. But my units are really struggling to hold on. Hold in the name of all you hold dear, mighty Ironbreakers. And it seems like they are starting to break and shatter. Balance of power is in my opponent's favor now that Forik Ironbrow has given up. He's exhausted and he is kind of betraying his ancestors and retreating. We get one last flash bomb down, trying to escape in a puff of smoke there. The Master Engineer still going on, 2,000 HP. Should be able to kill all the Pterodons and the Skink Priest, if we're being honest. But this Arca Sotek is simply too much, and is going to wheel around to bring justice and pain to the Dowie. They were meant to stay in their mountains. That was the Old One's great plan, and they did not fulfill their end of the bargain. So it comes down to the Lizardmen to be the executioners of the great plan and bring pain to the Dowie. They may be some of the children of the Old Ones as well, but not as important as the Lizardmen. And the Master Engineer gets flooded back. He kind of grinds on his 2 feet there, trying to stand firm against the beast. I'll make myself a slayer yet. A lovely swinging animation, catching the beast with a upper strike, and then whips our gun point blank range. I know how to finish this. Alas, he does get flung down, and it is a valiant defeat by our Dowie forces. Very well played to Church. It was a good fun game. I like this build quite a bit. Not a big fan of Kroxigors in general, but I think against this type of build, they'd be pretty potent and deadly. Against, of course, Thunderers and so on, they get absolutely shreked. But there's a lot of Pterodons here to shut down those units. I think a couple of Troll Hammer Torpedoes would have been absolutely to bring here as well. But I wanted to go for Quad Ironbreakers because, come on, it's Quad Ironbreakers. Rangers for the weak. Blasting charges and axes are for the strong, and the Ironbreakers performed so good. I'll delve into the damage dealt and gold value and all that stuff in a second. But if you guys enjoyed this video and want to see more of it, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment down below what you thought of the glorious action and battle. And there's a load of links in the description to Twitch, Patreon, and Discord. Where you can submit replays to me. I will cast some Warhammer 2 replays, as I said earlier on. Not a huge amount, maybe one a week or something along those lines to kind of mix it up with the Warhammer 3 content. Also looking to continue doing some more DAO content and maybe 1 or 2 other games as well. But yeah, mainly focusing on Warhammer 3 still, but happy to cast these as well. So make sure to send them in. It is nigh impossible to get good replays, unfortunately, on ladder. Like, I've come against so many people who are obviously just like campaign players and just destroyed them, so the games aren't that good. And then I came against someone who was absolutely lovely and would only counterpick me, and then brought against my Dowie like 4 chariots, a caster, a load of skirmish cav, and the game went on for like 20 minutes. It was a barrel of laughs. I was tempted to cast it as a bit of a meme, but alas, I decided against it. But yeah, so send me in any good replays you get. Boric Ironbrow, the mighty, 1.3k guard value, 1k on the Master Engineer. Both of them performed pretty well. Minus did their job, though. They didn't get massive damage value. They did okay against the enemy infantry, I suppose. 1.3 on the Dramback Slayers. If only we could have slain the Crocscott Ancient, we would have been in a much better position, I think, with the enemy leadership wavering. We could have possibly won the game there. The Ironbreakers, 154, 122, 53, and 72 kills. 1.9k, 1.6k, 760, and 1k damage value. So you're not too shabby. We did end up kind of isolating a few on the flanks, and those are the ones that got jumped and dragged down. I love the Crocscott Ancient pick coming in by Tretch. It is one of the coolest looking lords in the game. Lizardmen have so many good looking lords, but Red Crested Skink Chief and the Crocscott Ancient certainly need a lot more love than they get. Nice magical summons as well. They weren't able to really bring too much pain, but hey, going after Master Engineers is always a good idea. Red Crested Skink suffered. There was just too many blasting charges on the battlefield. Likewise did this Unitosaurus. The other unit, though, 1,000 value, not bad whatsoever. Pterodons, did okay. The Regiment Renowned, 965 damage value on them, though. Their rock drop a lot more powerful. The MVP, without doubt. Without a shadow of a doubt, the Archosotek is what won the game. It's one of the only units which paid for itself, like, heavily. Crocscott did good, 850 and 1,200 value, 845 on the Ferrostable, so a lot of the big heavy hitters did pretty good. But yeah, 2.8k damage value, 166 kills. It was the perfect answer to my Ironbreakers, and once the Dragonback Slayers were committed on the enemy lord, it freed up a lot more room for this Archosotek to reign terror amongst my infantry. Hope you guys enjoyed. Until next time, peace, and as always, stay awesome.